I'm reading the outline, trying to get caught up of like, what I'm going to say, wrap my head around it. And then you bounce me a question. And I'm like,
you got to be ready. You can't, I can't type
about?
and talk, but I can read and talk.
I can't read and listen at the same time.
It's REED and LSTN, baby. Listen, read, listen. This is the Tapped In Podcast, the podcast for beverage distributors that want to empower their sales team to drive business results. Listen up and welcome back to another episode of the Tapped In Sales Podcast. I am your host and moderator for the day, Bud, here with Moneyball Ross and Data Mike, your podcast for beer distributors by beer distributors, and talk about for beer distributors by beer distributors. This week, we were out at NBWA in Vegas, National Beer Wholesalers Conference in Vegas. We had a ton of fun. We sacrificed our livers. We didn't sleep very much. I woke up, Tuesday, and you both were like, "Are you guys sick?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not sick. I'm just hungover." I sound like shit. I'm so pumped to be up at 7 a.m. to be down and ready to rock so we can do our education session at the same time, which was like our first Tapped In live session. So you got to love that, right?
Yeah, and there's absolutely no clocks in Vegas. There's no source of time. They're pumping in, I don't even know, straight air form of cocaine through the ventilation system, so you never feel tired. It's tough.
I should have taken a picture. When you have your closet, right? And usually there's one panel that's locked because it's hiding like the HVAC unit.
Yeah. Oh, in the hotel room.
Yeah. Mine was unlocked, so I opened it thinking it was just a closet. And you should have seen how disgusting this thing was.
Oh, it's not awful.
It was the most disturbing thing I think I've seen. I should have taken a picture so I could have shown it here, but that thing hasn't been cleaned since Caesar's Palace opened.
and when, actually, that thing hasn't been cleaned since Caesar lived there, right, Rob?
That is his real palace. In case you're wondering.
Immediately, too, when we have our group chat going, and immediately when we land, Mike texts George and says, "Is the hotel beeper friendly?"
Pager friendly. I never did find that bank of paper.
Is it pager friendly?
Well, what did I say in response?
I don't even remember. I was still distracted with.
I was so perplexed by the beeper thing. I must have not got the connection. I'm like, what is Mike afraid that like his beeper's gonna blow up like it did? Like
no, it's the
IDF's gonna take him out. The Israelis are gonna take him out.
No, it's Alan from The Hangover. This hotel pager friendly.
It went completely.
Can I ask you a question? Do you know if the hotel's pager friendly?
What do you mean?
I'm not getting a SIG on my beeper.
I'm not sure.
Is there a payphone bank? Bunch of payphones. Business.
Completely over my head. I'm like, why would you be worried about your pager working?
I'm sitting in my seat and I'm looking down at the phone and I just put my head down and start laughing. It's just like,
I was hoping that we were all together at check-in so I could ask, did the real Caesar live here?
We all got.
I'm sure they've never heard that, Mike. I'm sure they've never heard it.
Never. No.
It's so fresh.
Good times, though. Good times.
Although my introduction was going to the store to get water because you need water because it's like, it's terrible there. $19 for 2 waters.
Well, see, I carry around 3 of these big ass Yetis everywhere.
Yeah, but where do you find there's a Brevi in like the workout room that's 25 miles away. Where else do they have water?
If you go to the forum shop, so I did a little Reddit searching, and Reddit was hilarious. Reddit was like, why would the PE guys let you get bottle fillers when you can charge $7 a bottle of water or whatever it is? And I was able to walk into forum shops, and I kept wandering around until I found a bathroom with one of these. It's downstairs. So you got to go in the forum shops. You got to go downstairs, and you got to turn left, and it's in between the bathrooms. So each morning I wandered my ass down there to fill these suckers up.
It'd take you like an hour round trip?
No, it's just to buy where the Palms was, where we had lunch or dinner on Tuesday.
Every time
night.
I hit the gym, I left with 2 cups. I was like double fisting because I was like, oh my gosh, there's a Brevi machine here. I gotta take advantage of this while I can. I camelled up an entire glass and filled up 2 more.
Yeah, you gotta love it. Yeah, love it. I mean, the things we do to save money and deliver client and shareholder value, right, Ross?
You know, every dollar that we save by using that Brevi is $1 more towards Deb, man.
Another $1 into the product.
Why spend $7 on a water when a beer was only 11 was my take on it. I was like, just drink water and stay hydrated that way, right? The industry needs the volume.
Dude, I did not feel good on that flight home. I was, it was so turbulent flying out of Vegas, and like all the windows are closed.
It's the worst.
And I'm sweating. You immediately panic. You're like, oh shit, if I have to throw up, everybody's in their seats. The stewardesses have been told to stay in their seatbelts. What are the odds I can get to that toilet?
0. I got to fly my first 737 MAX on the way to Houston.
And you lived.
I did, on my way to Austin. I almost asked the guys, do you guys know what this MCAS is? Like, turn left and you know what this MCAS thing is? You know how to work it? Just to make sure. Because I've seen the documentaries.
Yeah, Ross got caught up in my trap of final on the last night because he kept trying to sneak off the bed and like, whoa. I did not hear you say final. He's like, damn it, you're right. All right, one more. And then we'd get to talking to separate people and I'd see him go to sneak off. And I'm like, Ross, I didn't hear you say final. All right, final, one more. I think he got caught in that trap 3 or 4 times. He was trying to go to bed.
And I'm sitting in my seat on a Southwest flight where I have basically no Wi-Fi, right? And all I get is ding, ding. Where's Mikey? Ding. We're down here. Ding. We're down here. Like, Mike's got to take the trade show booth home. He's got to take both trunks home. And, like, this will be super fun to get these shipped home. And I thought you guys left them. I thought you left them, Rob.
No, Muhammad and I had it all loaded up and ready to go. And we're like,
by
the way, it didn't work. Mikey slipped the guy at the check-in, the outside check-in, a $20 bill, and then proceeded to charge Mikey $260 to check it.
Dang it. I knew I took a shot. You never know if it's going to work or not. 50-50 it works. So
it didn't work. Nope.
Didn't it work last time?
Yeah, I didn't even tip them, and they slid it by. It was only 5 over. I don't know what it was over. I didn't see the scale.
It was way over this time.
It was way over. It wasn't even close.
Way over.
Should have tipped him more.
Way over. Oh, well, you know what? It's still cheaper than shipping it. I know that much. So, well.
And for the record, I was on time. We said, let's meet at 7:55. I was there at 7:55. Ross was 15 minutes early. Said, hey, if you're not early, you're late. But you know what? I was still there. Technically not late.
And you know what? When I was there 15 minutes early, Muhammad had already been there 15 minutes.
Oh, God.
He was ready. He was ready for me at 4 a.m. He had all of the shit loaded up. We had to deload the car. He's like, no, Muhammad, that's going with Mike. We got to get that. I can ride around with you, but do you have another pickup? He said, I have another pickup. I'm like, yep, we got to get that shit back out of the car. Oh, my God.
He's a good guy.
He is. Did you guys tell him they were his TVs?
Yeah.
And he'll bring them back to us next go run. You know he will. So for the listeners to know, Muhammad is our driver that we use out in Vegas. I got connected with him, and we used the TV last time we were there. We left him the TV. We're like, hey, bro, like, thanks for taking care of us. Like, we're not going to take the TV back to Walmart because we're just not going to. And like, your TV to use, keep, give away, sell, whatever. And when we're texting to set up all our plans this week, for this trip, he's like, oh, Mr. Bud, I still have your TVs. I'm like, no, you don't. That's your TV, bro. Like, we got to buy 2 new ones because that one's too big. We need smaller ones. He's the best. I love it. Well, I'm glad that all worked out. What did we learn, boys, out there? What do you guys, see, feel, hear? Anything interesting? I know we were with all the drug people and all the THC land and Delta 9 land. For sure. So I thought that was fascinating. 2 years ago, Ross, when you were out in Vegas with us, there was like maybe 2 Delta 9 people, right? And now there was like 20.
The majority, I would say the majority, yeah, was Delta 9. If it wasn't warehousing operations, either delivery or automation, then if it was somewhere in the beverage field, it was 80% Delta 9. I felt like.
Or an existing brand.
It's like unrecognizable to what it was, 2 years ago in Vegas.
Yeah.
I mean, unrecognizable. And it was super supplier heavy, super THC heavy, Delta 9 cannabis. And this, and Mike, I know I'm going to steal your thunder here, but the functional energy stuff or the functional drink stuff, the mushroom drinks, I guess in 2 years it'll be psilocybin drinks probably, but
microdosing maybe.
Hey, legal here in Oregon. Well, I guess legal is not the right word. It's not a
frowned upon.
Not frowned upon. Let's put it that way.
We're not going to prosecute anybody for that out there in Oregon. So the functional energy drinks, what'd you notice there, Mike? Because I didn't see those.
Functional seltzers, I think is what they call them, because some give you energy, some calm you down, some make you focus. A wide range. Some of them have mushrooms in it. Some of them have THC. Some of them have CBD. Some of them have a combination of all of them. But they're calling them functional or good for you or good feeling seltzers, and it's a whole new emerging category. I found it super interesting. Talked to a lot of the different folks about it. Just kind of, tell me about it. Tell me, how's it doing, how's the traction, all that good stuff. And from their words, they're gaining great traction. But I got home, I did a little research, and now every ad that I get is for them. But they are directly targeting the the go sober movement right now, right? So they're trying to pick up on all of that volume, all of those dollars that are left on the table, people going to the sober movement, and their marketing is directed right towards those people, to where it's like, yeah, gave up alcohol, cool, try this, you can still relax. Hey, try this, you can still be social, feel good. And it's all microdose. So the difference between these things and the straight regular Delta 9 or THC drinks is that very, very small dosage, sometimes mixed with CBD, a ton of different herbs that they're using, all natural stuff, and great marketing to say, hey, you know what? Even though you gave up alcohol, you can still have a good time. You can still relax. So totally new emergent category. And I felt it interesting. I had some conversations with them. It's like, all right, well, why are you here? They're like, well, we want to pick up new folks, new distributors. And why the beer industry? Why not the soda folks? Why not another channel? And they obviously love beer distributors that's what we're good at, right? We build these brands, we have the distribution, we have the execution. But I think there was more to it. I think it's a great opportunity too to pick up some of these losses that we've seen over the last 12 to 24 months with people completely leaving Bev Elk, for health reasons or just for the sober movement. But to be able to use that, fall back on that and say, all right, hey, you left Bev Elk, but I still want you in my pocketbook, right? I still want you to be buying products from me. So super interesting. If you haven't heard of them, I'm sure if you were in Vegas, I don't know how you didn't see them, hear of them, or drink them, but check them out. And I think it's a great opportunity to dig into.
My first,
I think I was going to say a couple of my takeaways from one of the conversations we had, Mike, with one of the functional energy or functional drink people was, one, acknowledging, like you said, that the beer distributors are the best in the brand building category.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a plus. The negative they had was that all they care about, these distributors, is volume.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
all they care about boxes, and what the hell is wrong with these beer distributors? I'm bringing them a $30 margin case, and they're just not caring.
Mm-hmm.
And also, they're not focusing on me, even though I don't cannibalize anything in their portfolio. I'm an incremental sale. Why wouldn't they focus on me? Because I don't cannibalize what they're already selling, and I bring all this margin. And I said, well, that's an interesting observation, and I hope that's changing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and if you aren't already on the, we'll call it, instead of the sober movement, we'll call it the gross profit movement. If you're not already on the gross profit movement, you are going to be guarantee it in the next 12 months, focusing on different ways to grow gross profit and instead of just volume, right? And a lot of these suppliers are seeing that that's where our focus is, and that, then that's a downside for us. And we obviously don't want to come across like that. We want to make sure that they know that we're going to focus on your product too, because it's going to make you some money. And it's not eating into the space. We're not cannibalizing anything we already have in that account. We're trying to capitalize on the people that have left that segment.
Well, it's fun to see the segment change too, because when I was first introduced to like these microdosing or like these, superfoods. So this is NeuroGum. And I hit the NeuroGum up because we went to Disney with the family. And the last thing that Uncle Bud's going to do is sit down on his ass and not keep up with a 7-year-old and what'll be a 6 and an 8-year-old or a 6 and a 9-year-old at Disney. But I hit one of these like at 3:00 when I started to slow down each day. And it was perfect. And the beverage side is just, following and kind of tagging along with that same world. And that's the only other category I've seen it in so far. I'm sure there's plenty that Bud is not paying attention to. I'm not in the know on all of this by any stretch of the imagination. But it's funny to see, the beverage world moving in that direction away from just classic Monster and classic Red Bull with caffeination exclusively as like the added value, or alcohol is the added value, to now all this other compounds and all these other things going on, even beyond Delta 9.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't help my mind kept going back to like the craft boom, right? I mean, while we were in the beginning of it, or right even in the depths of it, and you would go to that trade show and it was all craft suppliers everywhere, right? And it's try this IPA, try this. Hey, have you ever heard of a Goza, right? All of this, and it was so craft heavy. And then now you go and and that's where that industry went, right? I mean, from during that time, if it wasn't there already, that was the craft boom. It's like, hey, this is what's coming in. This is what's hot. This is where all the focus is. And now you go, and it was, I mean, how many beer booths did you even see? If it was beer, it was most likely an import.
Yeah, and they were just it was like Guinness or something. It was the ones that are always there, and they're just there to say hi to their current distribution network. They're not there to find new distributors.
Right. Yeah. Or what was it, Argentina beer right across from it?
That's true. They had the Argentinian beer and wine. That was really, really great beer.
Yeah. So, and then if it wasn't Delta 9 or these good for yous, it was full flavor, full sugar, this kind of stuff. Straight up canned cocktails. Oh yeah, you've got the energy drink, but the canned cocktails too, to where it is a straight. We're not boasting that we have zero sugar. You want a cocktail? Here's a cocktail, and it's in a can. So saw a lot of that too, right? Chasing the Cutwater success as of lately, and there'll probably be a lot of people entering that category. And then mocktails, saw a ton of mocktails as well. In cans. There you go.
Hey, we gotta drink it. Shout out to
I'd
Ultra
still be
Dopa.
awake if I had that. There's 225 grams of caffeine in it.
I won't finish this. I just wanted to,
That's
what Ross liked that so much they gave him a whole case of it.
Yeah, they like take a whole case. I'm like, oh, okay.
Did you fit? You obviously fit it all in your bag.
Yeah, I got an expansion joint on it. And I checked it.
Yeah, I love it.
My wife was all pissed off because I was like, she's like, you landed. Why haven't you left the airport? I'm like, well, I checked my bag. She's like, what? You checked your bag? I'm like, yeah.
You bum.
Liquids.
You know, I got
liquids.
Oh, I love it. Love it.
Good stuff.
One of the things around, no safe level of alcohol has been one of the things that is topic of conversation. And that was definitely a topic of conversation. Craig Purser, president of NBWA, talked about this in detail. And one of the political kind of avenues that the association started to talk about, and organically, it makes a ton of sense too, is that like the social consequences of not having alcohol, and you're not getting together, and you're not being with friends, and how we've never been more lonelier than we ever have before through all of these Gallup polls and everything else out there. And it makes a lot of sense as the industry to start to talk around that as, hey, we can go back out to bars and socialize with each other. The numbers are somewhat reading into this too. On-premise sales are incrementally growing total dollars. One could argue that, price increases and inflation is driving some of that too. But it'd be even a worse story if it was going down, which at least it's not going down. There is still foot traffic, and there were a fair amount of people out in Vegas. Like, I did not feel like it was quiet Vegas. Like, I still felt like it was busy Vegas. Maybe not as busy as I've ever seen it before, but the event was definitely busy, and there were other folks, definitely lots of other folks participating in the fun of Vegas too.
So I think it's a good counterpoint to like the craft brew conference, whereas NBWA has kind of evolved where you've got all these alternative energy drinks, functional stuff coming in. I feel like there's always something coming in, and it's broader in terms of its reach than, for example, a craft brew conference, which has really centralized itself on that focal point. Not to disparage craft brew conference, I just think that NBWA has done a good job of evolving with the times and staying relevant and staying well attended. And man, that was my read too, bud.
It's part of what you talked about over our last couple of podcasts around like why you're excited about the distribution tier of the industry, that just because a brand or a category is struggling doesn't mean that you have to be down. We talked about in both of our seminars we put on, beer is down, but you don't have to be. You don't have to take this line down if you are trying to grow your business. And you have lots of opportunities to find ways to grow your business. Valuable route to market, new incremental space that you can go find, new partners that are out there looking to leverage and utilize your skill set out there. And it makes sense to think through the lens like that. And the distributors that are winning are thinking about that. To last week's episode around what are the three things top distributors are doing right now to win in 2025.
And they're seeking the distributors out. I mean, they're coming to the conference.
Yeah.
They're investing in the booths at NBWA. They're investing in parties. I mean, it's great.
It's fun to see, for sure. Other thing that was an elephant in the room too is kind of like supplier pressure that's out there. I think a lot of the supplier pressure is coming to life over performance on beverage alcohol too. The market is tougher. We are looking for more accountability, looking for more performance. That's rippling down through the industry and through sales teams. I think that's a thread that we've seen from working with our clients, that they're looking for more performance and they're looking for accountability, and that then you're seeing it through the trade press and you're seeing it through some of the reactions and some of the behaviors that suppliers are coming out with, where they're looking for more performance and more accountability too. And to dovetail onto that slightly, if we look at some, this was a little outside of the NBWA news cycle, but Boston Beer has set aside as much as $60 million for additional brand support for whatever they already had budgeted. And basically, we've talked about this, Q1 and Q2 and Q3 were tough. Be prepared for supplier dollars to show up in Q4 to force numbers out into the market. And Boston's looking to contribute $3 for every one incremental dollar that wholesalers contribute, as a multiply, and talk about a force multiplier in Q4 to drive results. And, they're doing it from a perspective of let's partner with wholesalers on a 3-to-1 basis, but others are going to do it with carrots and other ways, and others are going to do it with sticks too. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be happening. And I was on site with a client this week. They were talking about with brand managers, like, hey, we're not agreeing to blanket ABP numbers anymore. We're not going to have a supplier come back and hit us over the head with an ABP number that we loosely agreed to or passively said yes to, and let them thump us over the head in 2026. We're going to push back. We're going to say no. We're going to say that's an obnoxious goal. We're going to say, how did you come up with that? Walk us through the math. Tell us what you did to come up with that and why it designed that way and what's happening. You're going to have to figure this out. And that's another theme that I'm seeing, not just from association trade show meetings, but also out in the market too.
I love it. I mean, we preach that all the time, and it's great to actually hear real feedback of people getting out there and pushing back and negotiating for, a realistic goal that they can actually hit.
I mean, it was the subject of our speech seminar at NBWA around tail wagging the dog. I mean,
yeah,
one of the things I said during that conversation was, as the pie shrinks, the suppliers are going to get more desperate, and they think the only thing that they think they can do is throw more marketing dollars out to claim more share of a shrinking pie. And again, I think where we need to be careful as distributors is their incentives don't always match up with ours, and they answer to shareholders, and they answer to ownership stakes that may or may not be looking for certain growth targets at any cost. Right? Profitability may not be their guiding principle. It might be maximum market share as quickly as possible. And I'm happy to burn cash to do it. So we need to be real careful when we're taking money from people around what they're trying to achieve versus what we're trying to achieve. I mean, it may come in, looks sweet. Okay, $3 in, cool. Well, where are they getting all this money? Because what's their objective? And what are they growing at? What are they going to grow in your portfolio at the expense of?
Yeah. There's a cautionary tale around profitless prosperity is the term that has been introduced to me around how are we going to grow the business top line, but are you actually incrementally growing the bottom line of the business as well? Because if you are creating a world in which your business gets bigger, but you're not actually growing the bottom line number, then you are in a position of profitless prosperity. And we got to be cautious around that outcome.
Well, and distributors, I say we, they're annuity businesses, and they're valued based on the profits they generate, right? Yep. You don't own a distributor because you're going to become the next tech company or the next cool energy drink. Like, you are limited to a geographic area, or you are limited to a portfolio. So your objective is maximum profitability. That's your objective. But a lot of our suppliers, it's like you said, but I mean, their goal is top line growth because that's how they're valued. They're a priced earning growth multiple. So profitability is not even on the radar screen. So we do as distributors, as gateways to the market, need to keep in mind that we have very different financial objectives than our suppliers sometimes. We just need to be aware of that when we're dealing with them.
We also heard from Jim Sabia from Constellation too. And this was just a good, hit in the head, reminder that one of the lessons that the Constellation business has that all distributors can take to ABP season, and or if any suppliers are listening into this, is timeless commitment or enduring commitment to who you are. Corona, we all know, equals beach. Modelo, we all know, equals fighting spirit. That they're not backing out and shifting gears every little bump in the road that happens, and they've had, what did he say? He had got it in my notes here. Something like some obscene 59 quarters of growth in a row and 2 flat ones. And they're not looking to change a ton about the whole playbook, right? They're not going to completely rip up their marketing program, rebrand and change the Modelo can and change the Corona can and completely shift what they're doing because we've had a couple slow quarters. But a lot of operators think that's what they should do or completely adjust what they do. And when you have something like beer and beverage, and maybe beer in particularly, says something about what you're holding, says something about who you are. There's an identity to it still. And that still does happen in today's consumer too. And people are drinking, though. You talked about this a lot, Mikey. It still says about something who you are. That's why you drink Busch Light. You are the Busch Light kid.
Yeah. I'm not a Busch Light kid. I like the outdoors, right? It resonates with hunting and fishing and being outdoors. And I think we watched this I think this grabbed everybody's attention when Monster first came out, right? When Monster Energy first came out, it was cool. Red Bull gives you wings. Well, guess what? Monster makes you cool because you're into drift cars and dirt bikes and all the action sports, right? And that's just where they branded it. And by holding that Monster made you feel like that. And then people went a step and beyond, and they wanted that Monster M on everything. Right, you saw it on the back of everybody's car and everywhere, and it's still today. It's so true. It's they branded a lifestyle. When you brand a lifestyle, you're golden. So then when you hold that brand in your hand, you're telling everybody what your lifestyle is, what you're into, what makes you you, right? So, hey, if I'm drinking a Corona, I'm probably on a beach or wish I was on a beach somewhere. And that sticks through to labels and everything else. So yeah, 100% not shifting back. I don't want to go, well, now I'm holding a Corona and it means that I like to be in the city and I go to clubs. No, I'm holding a Corona. I like to be on a beach and I wish I was on a beach right now. It makes me feel like I was there.
And I'm thinking of one craft brand in particular in my mind right now is the Counterpoint, where I've seen them change labels a couple times, and it's like, oh, you brought in another consultant, now your label is even more generic and boring, and now whatever trace you had back to your being one of the original craft players is gone. I mean, I'd like to say the name, but I probably shouldn't. But it annoys me every time I see it, and their decline is not being reduced at all. If not, if it's being accelerated by these changes,
it's not getting better. Yeah.
To your point, Bud, they should just lean into their history.
Absolutely. This is a craft brand out of Michigan. I'll tell you what, I do not like this beer. This fluid does not make me happy. But this can is so freaking cool because it has the Michigan license plate on it. It says Northern Lights. The beer is called Northern Lights. And it has the Northern Lights, Aurora Borealis, all over it. Like, this is a cool ass can, and it makes people think that, like, hey, he likes to be up north, right? He likes to be in northern Michigan. Like, it screams that. So I like this beer because of the label, not because of the fluid. And I had one in my refrigerator because I had a 6-pack.
Those are the ones that Jamie drinks.
Yeah, right. She doesn't like it either. I only drink it if we're going somewhere and I want to have a cool label in my hand. People, what are you drinking? Oh, I don't know. It tastes like shit, but it looks cool.
We also had 2 celebrities show up as well, too, or maybe internet personalities / celebrities. We had Robert Herjavec showed up and talked about his investment in Dad Strength, which is a low ABV beer. And you got to love when somebody with as much, business and investment knowledge as somebody like Herjavec and shows up. He's a Shark Tank guy. And shows up and in the space and is investing in the space, talking about how he loves large industries that are ready for disruption. And that, his attitude is around, hey, we're going to have low ABV, no ABV is winning, low ABV can win too. And we want to see this kind of category incrementally grow. And he's excited about that. And then we also have a little screen share here too. We also had Jason Kelsey made a surprise showing too on Zoom. He showed up. There's Steve Bikert, new chair of NBWA with Craig. They got their Kansas City hat, their Eagles hats on, and talked all about garage beer and the investment that he and his brother have made in the garage beer and how they want to embrace beer culture and that they want to embrace growth and all that good stuff too. So it's exciting to see people come from outside the industry and talk about why they're excited and talk about why they want to see it grow and how they're investing in the space to help it grow too. So it's not all bad news, folks, out there. There's a lot of positivity and there's a lot of opportunity. Yes, there are plenty of challenges too, but we've got a lot of opportunities. Every challenge presents opportunities. Chaos is opportunities. That's kind of where the market is right now, and how you can find your way to growth is really up to you.
I missed the Travis Kelsey thing. I was hoping that he'd be there in person. There was a couple times where the show got really exciting. You thought somebody famous was going to walk out. I mean, we've seen some big people show up at those events. But it was also great catching up with a lot of our listeners. Met a lot of new people that listen to the pod, fans of the pod. People I've never met before recognized me and called me out. And so appreciate that for everybody listening. Big shout out to Jake at BMO Investment Group. Took me out to dinner, bought me dinner. Peter Luger's, that was awesome.
You're
was
a cheap date. You get a shout out for a free steak.
Yeah, man. And no, it was great. It was fun catching up with people that listen to the pod for sure.
Speaking of fame, man, you're famous for the lotion.
Famous for the lotion. 2 things that people, when they run into me in person, 2 things they always say. It's either about the concussion, the skiing accident, or the bed bugs lotion incident.
It's so good. We sat at
put me on the map, right? If I'm going to be recognized for something, I want to be recognized for lotion and bed bugs and a concussion.
You gotta love it. We sat at that bar and drank beer at Peter Luger's bar for what, 3 hours?
Longer than that.
At least
I went to a reception and came back, and then
you snuck into a reception. You snuck into a reception and came back.
I was invited. I had an invite.
Oh, I love it. Any closing takeaway, boys? Who we want to touch on?
I think, if you were walking around, if you were in Vegas, or even if you weren't in Vegas and you were looking at the things on the trade floor and what's coming up next, I think it's the grand takeaway is keep your eyes open, keep your mind open. Some of these new products coming in. If we go back in time at what's hot now, what's flying off the shelves, where the market has gone, if we rewound time 5 years ago, nobody would have guessed it. So to sit here and say what's going to be new, what's going to be hot is impossible. But you have to pay attention to all the categories that are coming in, all the different brands and what segment they're coming in, and get ahead of it. So keeping your mind open on some of these is probably going to pay off in the future.
Yeah, I think, and I mentioned this to a couple of our clients that came by, but it seems to me that a good strategy would be to collect the usual suspect brands now, because you don't know what's going to fire. To me, we look at the NA space and Athletic dominates, right? And whoever grabbed Athletic early is a beneficiary. I'm not sure which Delta 9 brands are going to go, which THC brands are going to go, which mushroom drink is going to blow up. But I think it's smart to collect what you think is probably most likely going to be the best. And even if it's questionably legal at this point, maybe even lining up the contracts, maybe lining up the relationships so that you're in position. I think just moving late is potentially a problem here, or a disadvantage. So if it were me on the other side, I'd be moving at first and doing so. Obviously you don't want to jeopardize your business from a legality perspective. But at the same time, you want to make sure you're set up for the next round of whatever is going to be hot, and so that your competitor across the street isn't the one that ends up with 90% of the hot stuff.
Was that the quick tagline? This is not legal advice.
Oh yeah, no, this is not financial advice or legal advice.
Legal advice.
I'm just a dude talking in a microphone.
If you want legal advice, you can hit up ChatGPT for all your greatest legal advice out there.
Yeah. Well, are there any lawyers that we know that go to these conferences and we can get a stake out of the deal?
There's tons of attorneys.
Dinner. We'll send all legal affairs your way.
There's tons of we are cheap, too cheap dates. It's too much of a cheap date. For sure.
Peter Luger was not cheap.
No, it was not.
It was not cheap.
There was nothing cheap about that place.
You're right. You gotta love it. Well, for me, I'm in that same camp, Ross, too. Like, find the land now, get the portfolio now, see where it shakes out, piece off the losers later. And you just don't know who's going to win and who's going to lose. And you can look at a brand that has all the right pieces of the puzzle and it just doesn't play. And 1554 is a perfect example of this from a legacy story as a brewer, is that the New Belgium crew thought that 1554 would be the one. It would be the beer that took over. It'd be their number one flagship beer. It was the one that they were most excited about. Who has had that beer? Only the few of us who actually are in the mix, knowing that portfolio, wanting to go deeper past the top few things that they sell, even knows that beer exists and knows how good it is. Fat Tire took over like a rocket ship, and the rest is history. The brewery was built off of Fat Tire, and to take it a step further, there's a whole new generation of drinkers that don't even know about Fat Tire, and all they know New Belgium for is Ranger and Voodoo and everything they got going on in that category too.
Just a surprise. I never would have guessed an Imperial IPA would get to that scale. Never would have thought that. I remember sitting around having a conversation and it was Imperial IPAs will always be niche. They'll never go, broad. I remember having conversations with the Firestone crew and, Double Jack. What's such a great beer? What an amazing beer. Mm-hmm. Never sold much more than, it was never more than 5 or 10% of our sales, which is a shame. It was like probably the best double IPA on the market, I thought at the time. And I never in my wildest dreams would have believed a double IPA would grow to the scale that Voodoo is. It's incredible. But it's testament to what you're saying, Bud, which is you don't know.
Nobody thought that they would put fruit juice in it.
Yeah. Well, they claim that they don't.
I mean, it is literally the same exact as at the Jurassic Park. We didn't think long enough to think. We didn't stop to think long enough to wonder if you should. You just did it.
Yeah. Coming out of that story too is when you see the emerging brands that come into these new hot segments when they actually brand the category, right? I mean, nobody called malt seltzers. You call them a White Claw. What kind of White Claws do you have? Well, I've got White Claw, I got Truly, I have blah, 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 right? You branded that. Now High Noon branded this vodka soda line. There's so many brands out there that just capture the whole category, and then it becomes the name of the category, right? So when some of these new, whatever they're feel-good seltzers or Delta 9 drinks, mushroom drinks, all those things coming out, there's going to be a few that really just brand that entire category.
100%. Well, how far
have we gotten down your itinerary for today's call?
We didn't.
Perfect. Everything I was expecting to get through. Everything I was expecting to get through. And all the stuff that I thought was weak, we skipped. So
we still have Vegas brain. I mean, come on. We just got home. You went directly to an on-site after Vegas. So
I went to Austin and then to Houston, and then drove over to Houston. I hit a Waffle House on the way. It was great. They have do you know, Ross, that you can get a Delmonico steak at a Waffle House now? You get it's a fancy ribeye. The only other place that I've seen a Delmonico steak as a type of steak, it's a fancy ribeye, is Capitol Grill. Is the only other place I've seen actively calling it a Delmonico. It's a fancy.
You got it at the Waffle House?
Yeah, I had 2 eggs. You gotta love this. Debbie at the Waffle House on South Austin cruised in.
Oh, there's your shout out.
Yep.
You get a shout out.
Sat down at the bar. And I rolled up and was like, what can I get you? He's like, I'm ready to go. You want steak and eggs, 2 eggs scrambled and a steak. What do you got for steaks? You get the T-bone or you can get the Delmonico. I was like, I'm going to do a Delmonico for sure. That is a clutch. $15.
How did it stack up against Peter Luger?
Not as good as Peter Luger, but you know what? It serves a different purpose. It's $15 is like 20 minutes and I'm out the door and on my way to drive to Houston. And that is pretty country down there, the drive between the two. It's not as like deserty, desolate as other parts of Texas for sure. Very ranchy. Lots of the southern Texas ranches. And everything's gated everywhere. It's fascinating. Those big, long lines.
I wondered what was going on in Florida that you have to keep everybody out, but everybody has fences and gates. Even if you don't have a fence, your driveway has a gate. What's up with that?
Because you got to keep Florida man out, man. People are crazy down here.
Something.
You got to do what?
You got to keep the Florida man out.
What's that?
You don't know anything about the Florida man?
Ask ChatGPT.
The Florida man is this mythical creature who wandered onto a golf course one day and wrestled an alligator to remove an alligator from a golf course. Beer never left his hand, threw the alligator over his shoulder and walks out of the golf course with it. It's this mythical human being that's just not. And there's all these other people that talk about their various versions of Florida man.
There's a beer brand at that, right?
Yeah, Cigar City.
Yeah. It's like a brown ale, right, Mikey?
Well, that's IPA.
It's an IPA.
Yeah, I think it's Imperial IPA.
Is that what it is? I love it. Well, good episode, boys. For those of you who got to see us out at NBWA, thank you so much for stopping by the booth and saying hi and shooting the shit with us and picking up a Tapped In hat. We love it. We've got those for you. If you see us around and about, ask us for one. We just might be lucky enough to have one with us. If you love what we're doing and you want to continue, share, like, subscribe, listen, and share it with a friend. If you got questions and listener comments, you can hit us up in the comments section on YouTube or on Spotify or anywhere else you listen to podcasts. And also you can shoot us an email, info@vxptech.com. That's info@vxptech.com. Boys, thank you guys for going to Vegas with me. I would not want to be there with anybody else other than you two and George. You guys rock, and we will talk soon. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.